BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my April 2019 month-end wrap-up. So, in these videos I go through all my stats, I talk about all the challenges I'm participating in, and how I'm doing on them, and I will give you guys my top 5 books of the month. So I don't go through all the books that I've read, I do go through my top 5. Now, what I am going to be doing in the description box below is I'm going to be listing all the videos that I talked about all of the books individually. So for every book that I mentioned that I've read in the month of April. But I'm only going to give you the titles of the books and then a link to that video. Now that video will then be time-stamped. So you can go to my weekly reads videos for April and click on which books might interest you. And at the very tail end of this video, I'm going to have like a montage of all the pictures with all my star ratings of all the books that I read in order that I read in this month. So anyway, let's jump in and get started. So in April, I read a grand total of 31 books. Wow. For my Goodreads reading goal, or reading challenge, I am 23 books ahead of schedule. I am 40% finished my challenge, which is pretty super awesome. I read 2 5-star books, 13 4-star books, 9 3.5-star books, and 7 3-star books. So not anything horrible this month. Like everything was entertaining and enjoyable, which is what you want, right? 19 contemporary romance novels, 3 middle grade fiction, 2 historical fiction, 2 historical romance, 1 cozy mystery, 1 inspirational romantic suspense, that was one of the Amish books I've read, 1 paranormal romance, 1 romantic suspense, and 1 thriller. For the Harlequin category romance novels, I read 4 special editions, 1 desire, 1 romantic suspense, 1 super romance, and 1 western romance. I read 27 books geared towards an adult audience. I read 3 middle grade novels and 1 YA novel. I read 2 books published in the 1980s, 5 published in the 1990s, 5 published in the 2000s, 3 in 2011, 1 in 2012, 2 published in 2013, 2 published in 2014, 1 published in 2016, 4 published in 2017, and 6 books published this year in 2019. 12 books I listened to on audio, 11 books I read as ebooks, 7 mass market paperbacks, and 1 trade paperback. I read 29 novels and 2 novellas. Of all the books that I read, 18 of them were part of a series, and 13 books were standalone novels. Of those 18 that were all part of series, 6 were new series that I started, and 12 were part of ongoing series. I read a grand total of 9,001 pages, averaging out to approximately 300 pages per day. Not too shabby at all. So, challenges and events for the month of April. So, my ongoing challenges that are like throughout the year. This first one is a monthly challenge, but I do them every month. So this is the Triple RC monthly challenge for April, and I completed all 10 out of 10, which I have done now for 2 years and 4 months. So I did it all of 2017, all of 2018, and now this is my 4th month of completing it in 2019, so that's awesome. I am participating in Romanceopoly, hosted by the girls at the Under the Covers book blog, and Jess from Peace Love Books, and I got 2 more done in April. My goal was 3. My goal every month is 3, but the last one I just didn't get to this month, or I didn't get to in April, so I am pushing it to May, so I will read it in the month of May. So I am now at 12 out of the 39 squares covered on my Monopoly board. And the 2 books that I read were The Fox and the Hound by R.S. Gray. This one was for the Heartbreak Hospital Square. And the other one was The Unsung Hero by Suzanne Brockman. And this was for the Military Muse Square. So both of them were highly enjoyable and I really liked them. The other ongoing yearly challenge that I am doing is the Stacking the Series Challenge. I am doing 11 tiers, or 11 tiers. So the way the Stacking the Series Challenge works, if you are unfamiliar with it, is you pick series books that you're reading and you do tiers. So your top tier would be, in my case, it's 11. So I read 11 books from one series. The next tier down is 10 books from a different series, 9 books from a different series, 8 books from a different series, and so on and so forth. So far this year I have completed 1 tier, and I think it was the tier that had only 1 book on it. But I have read 20 out of the 66 books that I need to complete this challenge. So the books that I finished in the month of April for this challenge were Only Mine by Susan Mallory, Fool's Gold book number 4, Shelter Mountain by Robin Carr, Virgin River book number 2, Tyler by Linda Leon Miller, book number 3 in the Montana Creeds series, Darn Good Cowboy Christmas by Carolyn Brown, book number 3 in the Spikes and Spurs series, and A House Full of Fortunes by Judy Durante, Fortunes of Texas, Welcome to Horseback Hollow, book number 4. So, super pleased with my progress on that one. And the one event that I participated and actually co-hosted in April was Amish in April with the lovely Elizabeth over at Lizzie Faye Loves Books. The original challenge was to read 4 books over that week, but I didn't get to one of them, unfortunately, and that was The Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower. I'm so disappointed. I really wanted to read it, but I just ran out of time. So it will get read sooner rather than later. I really do want to read it, but for now I didn't finish it. Our prompts were the 4 seasons, so winter, spring, summer, fall, and the 3 books, that I read. The first one was Sworn to Silence by Linda Castello, and this was for winter, as you can tell by the cover. The next one was A Road Unknown by Barbara Cameron, summer. This cover just screams summer to me. And then Home by Dark by Marta Perry, which was my autumn book with all those oranges and blacks in the cover. Very autumnal, if you will. So yeah, so those were all the challenges and events that I participated in. So the last little thing I want to talk about are the top 5 books of the month. So my top 5, and this is in order of, for top 5, most favorite to least favorite, still a favorite, kind of an idea. So my favorite book that I read this month was There's Something About Sweetie by Sandia Menon. This I gave 5 stars to. I absolutely love this book. It was a YA contemporary about a Indian American girl by the name of Sweetie, whose parents, or no, she gets set up with this guy named Ashish, or Ash he goes by, and she is a little bit overweight, and her parents, or her mother mostly, has always kind of commented on it that, you know, unless you lose the weight, you're never going to find a good guy, and, you know, you're going to do better in school, and your life is going to be so much better. And she's kind of out to show them that no matter what she looks like, she is still the same person. And I adored this book so, so much. This one does not come out till the end of May. I read this as a NetGalley arc, and I highly recommend it. If you are a fan of YA contemporary, you need to check out this author because she is super, super fantastic, and I adore her books. I've read all of them so far, and anytime she has a new one come out, I'm going to definitely have to get my hands on it because I absolutely love them. The next one on the list is The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michelle Richardson. This one I also gave 5 stars to. This was a historical fiction novel about a woman living in Kentucky in the 1930s who has a condition that causes her skin to be blue in color. It is a lack of, or something to do with the oxygenation in her blood that causes her to have this skin tone. And she works as a bookwoman, essentially, and she rides on her mule, and she goes to the backcountry hills in Kentucky, and she delivers and picks up books from people, almost like an old school bookmobile, in a way, a bookmobile with a mule. But this book was just absolutely fascinating to read. It is based on true events that took place, and yeah, I can't recommend this book highly enough. If you are a fan of historical fiction, which I am, you need to pick this one up because the subject matter is just so fascinating. If you are a person who loves reading, I mean, because it's kind of based around the fact that she's a bookwoman, and also with this odd medical condition and how she is treated by society because she is not white. And, you know, it was just absolutely fascinating, and I loved it. The next one on my list was The Fox and the Hound by R.S. Gray. I gave this book 4 stars. This one was so much fun. This one I took a chance on for the Heartbreak Hospital. I looked up books on Audible that had, on the Audible romance package that dealt with doctors, like there's a category that you can pick for that. And this one came up and I'd heard other people talk about it. And I'm like, I'm going to give it a try. And I really, really liked it. It was a great romantic comedy about a woman who is, you know, a little klutzy. She's not doing so great in life. You know, she's barely holding on to her job. She, you know, just adopted this cute little puppy that she doesn't realize is going to grow up to be a Burmese mountain dog, which is some huge dog. And she kind of falls in love with the local vet. And the story goes from there. Absolutely, utterly delightful. I want to read more by this author, but what I've been hearing is that this book is people's favorite by this author. So now I'm a little concerned that the rest of them won't quite live up to this one, but definitely give this one a shot if you have not read it. Next up, Sworn to Silence by Linda Castillo. This one I also gave 4 stars to. This is one of the ones that I read for Amish in April. This was a thriller, and guys, this was so good. This is the first book in the Kate Burkholder series, and it's about a woman who was raised Amish, and she left the community and left the church when she turned 18, and she moved to the big city. She ended up getting a job and going through the police academy, and now she has now moved back to town as the chief of police in this small town called Painter's Mill. And it is an Amish community. There are Amish and non-Amish who live in the community. And there's a series of very brutal murders that are taking place in this town. This book gets very graphic, very violent. There is a fair bit of swearing in here. But as for the adult content, there is not any. There's one scene, but it's completely behind closed doors. So if that's something that you shy away from, don't shy away from this book if that's something that bothers you, because it's not there. You don't have to worry about that aspect of it, as long as you can handle the violence and, you know, the swearing. But yeah, this book was so good. It kept me guessing right up until the end. You know, I did kind of figure it out a little bit. I kind of had an inkling before they, you know, kind of figured out who the killer was. But really good. This is the first book in a rather long running series, and I'm very interested in getting to the rest of the books in this series. And the last one was Rumor Has It by Jill Shalvis. This is, I gave this book 4 stars as well. This is one of the ones in the Animal Magnetism series. I can't remember what number it is. I will post it right here. It's either 4 or 5, I think. But this one was really cute. This is classic Jill Shalvis. I read this one for the Pass the Parcel that I was doing, but I've dropped out of just because I've got too much going on right now to deal with another challenge, like especially one where you're kind of committing to reading a new book every week, and with everything that's already on my TBR, I just can't commit to that right now. So, but I had read this one it was something about an animal on the cover. And this is a series I'm working my way through. But yeah, I mean, this series is just utterly delightful. This is about a guy who was former military. He has come back to his small town to kind of get back into society after doing a couple tours in Afghanistan. And he falls in love with his sister's best friend. And it's as simple as that. It's adorable. Classic Jill Shalvis writing, witty characters, fantastic plot points. You know, this is another great romantic comedy. Absolutely recommend this one for sure. So anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite book that you read in the month of April? Or have you read any of the books that I mentioned, and what did you think about them? And until my next video, you guys, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.